All right, here we go. All right, welcome back, Gentlemen Badass Podcast. I'm Josh. We've got Mick as usual.
Hello.
And today we have got Randy Goodwin. So Randy is an actor. He is kind of the face of 88 Tactical. So I've gotten to know him a little bit through 88 Tactical, but not as well as I would like to. So we're going to try to change that today. So Randy, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you for inviting me, man.
Yeah. So we like to start at the beginning, get a little idea of what your childhood looked like, maybe some key moments in there that maybe led you in the direction that you've found yourself in. So let's start us at the beginning. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? What did all that look like?
The very beginning?
Yeah, well, maybe a little bit sooner.
Okay, because I was going to go back to God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah, it's 9 months from that.
You saw that coming. Born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. Went to Wakanda Elementary, Nathan Hale Junior High. Where'd I go from Nathan Hale? Oh, Creighton Prep. Shay and I became... I'm sure most people know who Shay again is by now.
On this podcast, probably. Yeah.
On this podcast, yeah. We've been best buds for 44 years, and that's where it started, 12, 13 years old. I split high schools, Creighton Prep and Northwest. Went to University of Nebraska, Lincoln, Kappa Sigma fraternity, went for architecture because my parents did not think acting was going to be something that made sense, you know. So we're Nebraskans. Mm-hmm. We do practical things here. Acting, nah, that's way out there. They, you know, that's what they and it wasn't trying to just keep me from it. It was protection, you know, Midwest parents, which is why I'm back now. But we'll get to that. College, military, Air Force, recruited by the OSI. That was a crazy. Anyway,
Did you go into it?
that was a crazy. Got out. When I got out, I said, you know what? I'm a grown man. I was sneaking off in college. I was sneaking off in the military doing plays, stand-up comedy. 'Cause Shay got me in stand-up comedy during college. And I said, you know what? I'm a grown man now. I'm going to L.A. I went to Chicago first, went there for 2 years, started doing commercials, and got my SAG card. And then I said, you know what? I'm ready for LA. I was doing all the comedy clubs, improv, Funny Firm, Funny Bone here and there. And it was just time, man. So I went in 94. And by 96, I was on my first TV series as a series regular. I mean, Awesome. It just happened like boom, 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 where many people struggle for 10 years before they even start getting a little bit of work. That's usually the norm. 10 years, doesn't matter. If you're a director coming out there, producer, writer, 10 years is like your proving ground. And then most people still don't make it. But 10 years before you really start working, I got it within 2, and then it just took off. And I hit the top 1% of working actors. And then I started turning a lot of stuff down, and agencies don't like that because that's 10%. But my managers, I've had 2 managers in the 31 years I've been there, and they are on Team Randy. And, you know, they get it. They understand how I am when I choose projects, when I turn stuff down, and they don't sweat me. You know, most times they turn it down before I even get to it anymore because they know me. They know my MO. They know, oh no, he's not going to go for that. You know, so now I have a great team. Now here we are in the strike, and I get to be home for a while because of everything I've been trying to build here for the last 17 years. So I'm feeling pretty good about the strike right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get into strike. I want to get into turning gigs down. I am interested though. So through this whole period of going through high school, being in the military, doing some stand-up and some acting, did you take acting lessons? Did you do film school, anything like that?
Nope. When I tell people, I go, God built me for this. This is since I was 8 years old. Never taken an acting class, a writing class, a directing class, an editing class. Remember the movie Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
When Matt Damon's character, Will would be looking at the problems on the board and they would just...
Shapeshift, yeah.
That's how it is with me. When I sit down, the first time I started editing, I sat down. The only thing I needed to learn was the shortcuts on the keyboard. Other than that, I just look at it and I go, I hear the music, I hear the score, I can be listening to the radio and go, ooh, that's going to go in this next project, and I know exactly where. It just makes sense. Always has. So not only did I not go to school for any of it, but I teach it.
Okay.
I teach it the way it worked for me, because obviously, if you know how to do something and it's working, you can say, hey, you know what, who was that acting coach? Stella Adler. There are people who have been trained by Stella. There's some others, big acting coaches. And I have friends in the business who'd been with them for years and never booked anything. So then I go, oh man, hold on. What are they telling you? And I listen to them and I go, let me break it down. Let me give you the most simple way to understand acting and a character and a role. First of all, I don't believe in becoming a character unless that character was actually alive. I did the Natalie Cole story where I played her husband, Marvin Yancey. Well, I had to study him to be him. If it's just a character where we create a script and we're just having, it's something where someone didn't live, I don't believe in becoming that character. I believe that if the three of us are going up for the same role and all three of us are great actors, we go into the room and we do our thing. Everything that's on the page, we read the direction, we read the action, the inflections, and we go, okay, we're going to become that character. So you, and me become that character, and we crush it.
And you just kind of bring it to life?
Yes, but you can't bring it to life outside of the parameters they're giving you if you become the character. We grew up differently. You might have grown up with just your dad. You might have grown up with just your mom. I grew up with both parents. I have no sisters. Maybe you have all sisters. We all have, everyone's been training to be actors since the day they were born. You ever told a lie?
No.
You're supposed to go, no.
That's a bad acting job right there.
No.
See, now yours, yeah.
No.
So when you told a lie growing up, did someone believe you?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. Your first acting job, successful.
God, I should have fucking 10 Emmys by now.
Exactly. Exactly. So everything that you are, you look at Denzel Washington. When you see his roles, you always see Denzel until you start watching it. And then you're just enraptured in whatever character he's playing. But you always see Denzel and a little bit of Denzel in every role. That's because he brings the character to life by putting the character on. The old adage, the clothes don't make the man. When I put on a suit, and if I put on the exact same suit that you put on, it's going to hang differently on you. I'm a little taller, shoulders, maybe my legs are longer. However, the way you walk in it, that suit is going to look different to other people because you and I are completely different people. So when you put on that character, just like a suit, it takes on a bit of your personality. Now, you may have studied people. I think my way of saying acting is basically studying and mimicking human behavior. Other people, you watch. So that you can do a little tick, so you can drop your arm when you're walking, and maybe this one swings and this one doesn't. You're pigeon-toed in this movie, and the other you're walking a little different, like Will Smith. Or it's the little inflections, if you will, that you take on, but you add those to who you are in that character, which means that role, when you go in the room, they're gonna go, "Holy crap! We never saw it like that."
Sorry, let me just ask you real quick, probably because my thoughts come and go probably quicker than yours will. With us being coaches, when it comes to art and performance, does a coach get in the way? Can an acting coach ruin that? Because you're talking a very kind of like a state of consciousness almost, where you are observing and absorbing everything, and then it kind of has its way, or at least your way, to come out in a character. When we coach, we tend to put our way into people. And I just kind of had the thought while you were thinking there about like Denzel and some of these people. Like, does acting coaching actually, could that potentially hurt someone? Like, did Van Gogh go to fucking art classes? I don't know. Like,
they can. It can damage, because I've been to one acting class in my entire life, and it was a friend of mine, Will. He said, "Dude, you got to come to my acting class." I said, "I'm good, man. I'm good." Because, no, dude, trust me. You got to trust me. So after many months of him always on my case, I went. He goes, "Just audit the class." So I went with him. I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this guy do a scene, and she steps up and says, No. That's all wrong. That's all wrong." I said, "Hey, Will, I'm out." Why? It's never wrong. There's just a better way. Or let me watch. So if I came in here and I'm hitting the bag and I'm doing my thing, you're going to go, "Oh man, he's got a reach. He's quick." He said, "But you know what? The way he's shifting." And then you'll look at how I actually do it, and you'll go, "This is what's going to be better for you. This is how you're going to be able to tag. This is how you're going to be able to catch him with your jab." So it's kind of the same thing. But there are those who I always say the best teacher is someone who's doing it or has done it. And the best classroom is in the field, getting it done. I learned on the job. I acted like I knew what I was doing with that first show that I got. I just walked on stage and I was like, whew. And I'm watching, boom, and I watched them, boom, and I watched them, boom, and I'm like, okay. And I walked around like them. Not the ones I didn't know. I'm looking at the big actors going, I'm gonna act just like them. Like, I've been here before. Never been there before. But, you know, that's just kind of how my mind is. First time I directed, 2004. Whenever they say cut, all right, Randy, you're good for the next hour or so. We'll come grab you out of the dressing room. I go, okay. And I would walk around. I wouldn't go to my dressing room. I'd always walk around and sit in Video Village. So say you're the director, you're the producer, and then there's other producers around. There's some writers, and they're watching the monitors. Boom, 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 boom. I wanted to hear how they talk to each other. I wanted to know that Hollywood speak. I wanted to know the little things that aren't taught in books. So I would just sit and watch and listen. And this particular day, there's a show called Abby that we did in 2004. And the director was blocking a scene in a rehearsal. And I just kind of have this little problem that sometimes things come out of my mouth that I don't realize are coming out. Or I make sounds like, whoo, that's not going to work. And I look over and one of the producers is going, and I go, what? I go, what did I say? So we're watching and they're doing it and it's clunky and I go, that ain't gonna work. And they go through it and then the director goes, okay, you guys, I want you to run this scene and blah, blah, blah. And when they did it and it was odd and awkward and he goes, I don't like that. And I go, could have told you that. And then he turns around and he goes, Randy, you want to block this scene? Like kind of with a little bit of an attitude. I said, absolutely. I go, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to make this a little dance and you're trying to make it funny because when Will comes in from a night of partying and Sydney comes from the kitchen from a night with some dude because they used to date and now they're not giving up their apartment, their rent-controlled apartment in San Francisco, and they're trying to still live in the same place and date separately, but there's something there. And this is the episode where we realize there's something there. So I go, I get it. But it's clunky, and the clunky's not funny. We need to make this sexy. Sexy will make it funny. So what you got to do is we got to put somebody in the kitchen or light, and we cue Sydney at the exact same time. Kadeem opens the door. Will, characters. So I go, Kadeem, door open. Sydney, door open. When they come in, they see each other but act like they don't. Kadeem, you walk behind the sofa toward the kitchen. Sydney, you walk in front of it. There's going to be no trying to get past each other. You guys walk past each other like you don't see each other. And as you are going into the kitchen, you push that door open, stop. And as you are going down the hallway, you both stop to look back to see if the other's looking. And you look at the same time. You see each other. And that's where you realize, both of you come back in front of the sofa, stop. Face to face, and that's the moment. That's the moment. The director goes, "You guys hear that?" I said, "Yeah." I go, let's try that. Let's try that.
Let's go with that.
And we did it in the rehearsal. Boom, 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 and it was perfect. Boom. And I sat back there, and when they got there, I went, "Booyah!" And the director goes, "You want to direct this shot?" And I said, "Absolutely. Let's do it." I don't ever hesitate, or I don't go, let me do the next one. If you give me a shot now, I'm like,
Yeah.
heck yeah, let's do it. So,
Well, it almost seems, kind of getting back to his question, like that's coaching in and of itself. And I think that's the idea behind a good coach and a bad coach. A bad coach is just going to try to make you like them.
yes,
I think a good coach is going to try to find your best assets and bring them to the foreground. And I don't know, I think that's why you're a good coach. And that's what I'm trying to do with my people is that, if I came in here as a jiu-jitsu player and you're like, okay, you're going to be a spider guard flying armbar guy. And then you worked as hard as you could to try to make me into that, which I'll never be. It'd be a failing venture. But the fact that, okay, these are the skills that he has, good or bad, high level, low level, let's pull on those skills. Let's get them better. And then now I can be a decent jiu-jitsu player, and probably the same with acting. If you got an acting coach that's like, no, you got to do it this way, and versus someone who finds what's interesting about you and helps embolden that, helps empower that, so that you can be more of you. I think that's, I don't know, maybe a good analogy of a potential good coach.
yeah.
So, in my opinion,
I agree. I completely agree.
Who out there nails it every time?
Denzel, Mel Gibson. Those are my two favorite right there. Tom Cruise. Dude, they crush it. Never a bad performance for from any of those.
Tom Hanks?
There's been a couple of roles with Tom where I go,
I just thought of him because he came from a comedy background first, right?
Yeah, Bosom Buddies.
Yeah.
That's fresh in my mind because I basically created a new show for a slightly older crowd because there's not much out there. Remember Golden Girls and stuff like that? That stuff's hilarious.
Yeah.
They need an audience. They need something. So I came up with this idea because of Bosom Buddies for two young dudes to live in a retirement home. By night and by day, they actually work there. An actor and a special effects makeup artist in Hollywood, and they lost their apartment. And Bosom Buddies, basically. Bosom Buddies in a retirement home. So, but yeah, Tom Hanks, I think he was okay in Elvis. I don't think he was the guy. I honestly think Paul Giamatti would have crushed it.
As a colonel, probably,
Yes.
Yeah.
He would have crushed it. Hanks was trying to put on that accent. It didn't work for me. It just didn't. And then you have Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. It took me a minute to realize that was him.
Yeah.
Because Tom's never done anything like that before. So that just blew me away. I was like, holy crap, that's Tom Cruise when he's doing the dance and stuff, man. The bald head, loved it. Loved that he was willing to step out there and try it.
What female actors right now do you like to watch?
That Helen Mirren is awesome. Jennifer Aniston's always great, and she's still cute. Why am I blanking? Devil Wears Prada.
Anne Hathaway or
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, yeah.
Meryl Streep is in my top 3. Actors, actresses. I mean, she's in my top 3.
I think that's pretty universal when it comes to maybe not completely universal, but she gets a lot of accolades.
She's incredible. Incredible. So is The Help. How to Get Away with Murder. Why am I blanking on her name?
The young African-American actress?
Young. She's in her late 50s, I believe.
No.
60s?
I think I know who you're talking about. Was she in that Will Ferrell holiday one? Shoot, I know who you're talking about. Can't think of her name.
She's not 50.
The Help. I don't ever forget. Viola Davis.
Yeah.
Viola Davis is, from my trusty handheld computer, she is 57.
Damn.
Yeah.
So getting into, kind of taking a step back, you get out of the military, you decide you're going to move to LA. 2 years later, you're on a show. So obviously things went well, and you reached kind of a status that I would probably say most actors never reach. Mm-hmm. So then you get to the point where you're turning stuff down. What is it that's going to cause you to turn stuff down? Because this is important. I'm asking this selfishly because I'm one of those guys that if I have any type of opportunity, I say yes, whether it's a smart thing or not. And I've noticed both of you have turned down things that I would absolutely jump on, just because they seem cool in the moment, but might not be the right decision in the moment. So how do you go about making the decision whether or not you're going to take a role or not?
You think of risk versus reward. Like I turned down coming down and working out with Mick because I need my face. And roles coming up. And
Look at this face. There's no damage to this thing, and I've been doing it my whole life. What are you kidding me?
Because that's because you're damaging. You're
damaging my brain.
You're damaging other people's faces.
I have brain damage. Yeah.
No, I know. I mean, dealing with that though, I just go all out when I do stuff. So I know that if I got down here, I play ball with Magic Johnson and the guys, and I mean, I had a couple chances to play some pro ball back in the day. So when I play with any of the pros or any of the college guys, I will shoot the first three. When I hit the three, I go, remember, I chose acting, just to let them know. The Magic would come down and shoot it with that hand and go, I chose the NBA. You know, and then he backs me down and nothing I can do. But when it comes to Hollywood, my father taught me and my brothers, we hold doors, pull out chairs, easy on the swears, have respect for other people, be a productive member of society, remember your Christian upbringing, always think of, what would Jesus do? Would you like that if someone did that to you? Or what are you putting out there? Because I learned quickly that film and photos, especially with the internet, never go away.
Yeah, last forever. Yeah.
So whatever you do in this business, you make sure it's something you want to do. So I drew a line in the sand when I got there, the moment I got there, when I had nothing. I remember doing my first acting writing seminar in 2004. I came back home for 4 weekends, and I did these acting writing seminars. And I remember we were at the Dundee Theater, and it was pretty packed. And I was talking about turning down roles, and some guy yells out, "Yeah, you can do that because you're established. You're established now." And I go, turn the lights on. I go, who said that? Who said that? Man up. Who said it? And some guy stood up, and I went, I was doing it when I was sleeping in my car. I was doing it when I was sleeping on a park bench. I was doing it before I ever booked a role in Hollywood. I would say no. And that's when my other friends would go, dude, and none of them knew that I was without a home. I was sleeping in my car. They had no idea. But that's how good of an actor I am. But my buddy Ponch, and Ponch will listen to this. He'll say it. He'll go, yeah, man. He would always tell me, man, do what you gotta do so you can do what you want to do later. I said, nah. I go, I understand what you're saying, but I am doing what I got to do. And doing what I got to do is doing what I want to do. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I've wanted to do in Hollywood, but they wouldn't give it to me because I won't give in. So if you look at everybody that's going through something right now, Will Smith, I mean, look at Jamie Foxx. We don't even know where Jamie is right now.
Right.
But everyone who was given in the beginning to get it, and it might not be they slept with some kids or they cheated on their wife. That's a big part of it, because when Hollywood sees that you're just as dirty as they are, they're like, okay,
Gotcha.
yeah, we like Josh. He won't tell because he's cheating too. Oh no, he won't tell. You want to break that glass ceiling? You got to have the same dirt on you that I have. So there's going to be a car picking you up on Friday, and we're going to be taking this private jet to this little island. That's real.
Yeah.
All that stuff's real. And I've been offered so much stuff. I remember a buddy of mine, Leon, he kept saying, man, come on, man, dude, just go to Jamie's house. Let's go to Jamie's house. I said, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. And this was many weekends, because I owned a security team out there with 2 partners, and we had 35 guys, and these guys always wanted us to come out and party. I don't party. I'm not that guy. I don't want to put myself in any situation where I got to knock somebody out. We worked it. I didn't want to be out there because I see how these people are in these clubs. And I'm like, nah, it's not for me. And then you want to go to somebody's house and party with a bunch of crooked Hollywood people. And I was like, no. Well, he called me up that first night. He goes, bro, I'm glad you didn't come. You would be pissed if you were here. And he started telling me the things that were happening. I go, no, that's not my world, man.
Yeah.
I don't drink with people in Hollywood. I don't go to Hollywood parties. Very few that I gone to, but it's when it be like if it was your house. I trust you. And be like, let's go to Mix. Let's go Mix. I know he's not going to have any stupid people there. And if they are, he'll probably choke them out later. Yeah. So there were some houses like that. But for the most part, I just stayed away from it. I stayed away from it, kept my head down, and just hammered away at what I knew would make my dad proud. He passed away early in my career, but he was able to see a couple of things as best he could see. He was losing his eyesight too. So my cousin, who's an eye surgeon out in LA, made him these little binocular glasses, and he puts them on, and he could adjust them, and he would go, I could tell that was you by your swagger, the way you were walking, and then I'd hear you talking. So he was proud, and that made me very happy. But it was always, you know what? Guys looking at me every day. That's who I have to answer to. I go, so you offering me $2 million to play this role? There are plenty of, over 50 times they've come at me to play gay. There are plenty of actors who will play gay. There are plenty of gay actors who will play gay. So why do you keep coming after me? What is the push? And I've had people get upset about it too. One guy slammed his hand on the table. Why won't you do it? Why won't you do it? I said, why is it so important to you that I do it? Again, I have nothing against gay people. Do your thing. It's not a role I want to play. But you know what's funny? The agency I was with at the time, everyone in that agency was gay. Assistants, receptionists. There's only one guy, and then the accountant. She was like 900. But they just kind of stopped working for me when I said no that last time. And they're like, "What? Why won't you do it? What is the problem?" I go, I think it's very interesting that you're sweating me about not playing a gay role, but I also said I won't do anything for BET. That's Black Entertainment Television. I don't think they make black people look good, so I don't do it. I've never done anything for BET. I've gone to one award show for BET way back, and I'll probably never go again. It's just not for me. Not for me.
So is it hard to hold a high ground in an industry like that?
I don't think so. For me, I think it's pretty easy. I know other people who oh man, should I do this one? Oh man, dude. I don't want to kiss this dude, man. And I go, well, don't. If you're thinking about it, go get that tongue wet. I was just like, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and from an outside perspective, just from what I see in the news, people are getting in trouble for playing things they aren't. Right? You name anything like disabled, different race, different whatever.
Yes.
You get in trouble for playing something that you're not. But
Josh Kidney, you just opened up a door. Because if that is true for all these other roles, Asian, a Chinese person can't play a Japanese person. That's insane. I mean, not to the Chinese and the Japanese who think that that's wrong. I'm sorry. But I look Dominican, Puerto Rican. I could play many different roles. You have, what's his name? Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright, I believe, is Puerto Rican. And he played Martin Luther King. And Black Hollywood went crazy. He can't play a black person. He is a black person. He just happens to be Puerto Rican black. Mm-hmm. No one would know if he never said I'm Puerto Rican. But those kind of things are just stupid to me. But, okay, since we're in that world, we're doing this now. If you're a trans person, you got to be played by a trans person. Halle Berry was going to play a trans woman. Trans woman. That's a man who turns into a woman, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, she was going to do that. And the trans community in Hollywood went nuts. She can't do, she's not a... If you're saying you're a woman, guy, then she's a woman, then why shouldn't she be able to play it? Mm. See, this whole double, triple, quadruple standard. But, again, if that's the case, then why are you still coming at me to play gay?
Yeah.
Why don't you go to a gay actor? There's an agenda. There's an agenda.
And to me, there shouldn't be with art.
There should not be.
Yeah.
I should be able to play what I want. And now, honestly, I do want to play this gay character based on my cousin. He has a great story. I mean, it's a great story. But am I kissing a guy? I am not. That's me. They'll call me homophobic for that. No, not even close. But I'm not kissing a guy. I barely kiss women on camera. And when I have to, when I was married, we go to the actress and say, okay, don't put your tongue in my mouth. Mm. I can make this look good. We can do this. And when I was doing the Natalie Cole story, it was my first on-screen. No, it wasn't my first on-screen kiss. It's my third. And when we kissed, I remember Teresa Randall goes, that didn't feel good. And Robert Townsend, who's directing, goes, oh, but it looked good. She goes, but it's so cold. It feels cold. But, she wanted a little more. And I was like, no, that's all you get. And she goes, but did it look good? Robert goes, it looked great.
My wife gets the 4K version, sorry.
Yeah. Now, Robert said it. She goes, but it felt so cold. He goes, because he's saving the warm ones for Mrs. Goodwin. And she goes, who's Mrs. Goodwin? He goes, his wife. Duh. And she goes, oh. And then that's when she kind of had a little attitude to him. But yeah, I don't do what I don't want to do. Mm. It's just that simple, when it comes to this game. I cannot. I know that I'll be able to do the things that I want. And I get asked a question, one of you will probably ask it, what's the best thing you've done? Or what's the role that you feel is, I haven't done it yet. Mm. I've written it, but it's to be shot here in Nebraska. So I've got over 50 projects ready to go to be shot here in Nebraska as we build the film industry here, which is what I've been coming back and forth for many years for. But since 2015, I've really had a presence here. And then I was gone between 2017 and 2020 a lot more. But then when COVID hit, that allowed me to be here a lot more. That allowed me to be a huge part of 88 Tactical. And just the senators can see my face, the governors, the last two city councils, chambers, because now they're like, oh, okay, so he is here a lot. No, most of them think I live here. I do not. I stay with my family over at my Omaha Country Club. My mom's here. Everybody's here. My dad's here. He's in Forest Lawn. He ain't going anywhere. He's got a nice house. It's right in the military side there. Flag's right next to him.
So that kind of opens up two different juicy questions that I want to get into. But the first is just talking about the strike. So we were kind of talking about that beforehand. Obviously, we're in a writer's strike right now. We were asking kind of how that affected you, and you said right now it's actually been beneficial. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we are in the writers and actors strike.
Oh, okay.
So this is the second time in the history of Hollywood that two unions are striking at the same time.
Okay.
I believe it was 1960 something. But the writers, back in 1986, I believe.
Yeah. Kind of the birth of reality TV was during the strike.
I hate reality.
Well, I mean, you can see why they did it, because nobody was writing anything. So they're like, let's put a bunch of people in a house and set a bomb off.
I mean, I like stuff like The Biggest Loser. Remember that? That was a good show. Ninja Warrior. I like that kind of stuff because it's competition. It's real life. I don't like Naked and Afraid.
And now we just can't seem to get off that loop.
No.
So my fear is like, well, Hollywood is like a snake that grows another head after you chop it off. So the first strike in the 80s led to the birth of reality TV, where they didn't need writers. The crazy people that they interviewed and scripted to be on the show made the entertainment themselves.
Yeah, and it's still, all of it is still scripted. I mean, they make it out to seem like Basketball Wives and that crap. They make it look like, oh, it's all. How is someone following me and then the door opens and then the camera's on me and then there's a cut back and then there's a two shot? Because they do it several different times. The difference is they're not union. They don't have to be a part. They don't have to. They can shoot. They can do whatever they want.
Okay.
And I'm just like, and it's low hanging fruit, and it's low hanging money.
Yeah.
You know? So, again, if it was just about money for me, I would have taken everything that came at me, and I'd probably be worth about $800 million today, because we did the numbers on how much stuff I've turned down, and one of them was, now I didn't turn this show down because of morals or values. I turned it down because I was on another show called LA Sheriff's Homicide. We shot the pilot. It was the best pilot that was shot in 2002. We were the big show talked about. It was Robert Forster, Robert Patrick, the Liquid Terminator, Miguel Ferrer, Annabeth Gish, Dylan Walsh, Jesus Garcia, and then me. And this show was executive produced by Kelsey Grammer and Robert Nathan, who was Dick Wolf's partner. Robert Nathan is the guy who wrote all the episodes of the original Law and Order that won all the Emmys. He was still Dick Wolf's partner while we were on hold because of a fight between Paramount Studios and the network, NBC, because of one dude. I'm not going to say his name, Scott Saza. And he screwed us, basically, is what he did. And Hollywood used to be run by creatives, but now it's run by a bunch of businessmen. And he was a businessman who thought he was a creative, wanted to make a change, and studio wouldn't let him. And he cried racism against Asian Americans. Hollywood doesn't like that word. Anyway. Yeah, so that show was the hottest thing. They paid us for a whole year. And then I'm kind of recurring on another show while we're on hold that Kelsey Grammer executive produced as well, Girlfriends. And I get a phone call from my manager, and Adam goes, "You heard of Law and Order?" I go, "Yeah, love it." "What about Law and Order SVU?" I go, "Didn't they just finish their first season?" He goes, "Yes." He goes, "Just got a call from New York, and they made you a straight up nice offer to be the new series regular on the show, playing Richard Belzer's new partner." And I go, "I'm under contract for LA Sheriff's Homicide, dude." He goes, "I know, but it's Robert Nathan, and that's Dick Wolf's partner, and Dick Wolf and everyone else has signed off on you, and they want you in New York." Well, I felt Law and Order SVU was a good show, but LA Sheriff's Homicide was a great show. And then my phone rings, and it's Robert Nathan. And Adam goes, call me back. I knew he was going to call you. And I go, hey, Robert. He goes, I know you know what's going on. I go, I have no idea. He goes, stop lying. I know you know what's going on. He goes, no. Dick is not poaching you from me. Not happening. I go, didn't you guys just let go of Annabeth Gish and Robert Patrick because now they are they took over from Mulder and Scully on the X-Files,
Yep.
if you remember that. They were on the show. So I go, let them go. He goes, yeah, we can replace them. I'm not letting you go. No. And I went, here's the thing, man. I think we have the better show. Are we going to make the air? He goes, I guarantee it. I go, okay. Because all I want is the Emmy writing. I know we have it. We got you. We got James Elroy, the novelist. He wrote it with, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We were
really
stacked, dude. So I was like, okay, if you're guaranteeing we're going to make the air, all I want is that Emmy writing. Because we get that Emmy writing, the show will win Emmys, and so will I. As an actor, I will crush this role. He said, we will make the air. I said, then I'll stay. And he goes, sweet. He called Dick Wolf and he goes, ha! Randy said he'll stay. I haven't heard from Dick Wolf since 2000. 23 years. They haven't called me for anything. And I have connections. My manager's connected to Law & Order SVU. I was like, Gina, I want a guest star on there or a recurring role. Dick's not having it. I left him hanging. It's what it is, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
But
God, sounds like an NFL franchise almost, like the trading and the players and the
yeah, it's crazy.
Man,
it's crazy.
A lot of people involved.
Yeah, so with that show, the next day, my manager calls and says, "Do you see Variety magazine?" I said, "No." He goes, "Go get one." So I go to Kelsey Grammer's office. I go, "Kelsey, you got a Variety?" He goes, "Yeah," in that Kelsey voice. Like, what's up? He goes, throws it to me. I look at the cover. It says, Ice-T tapped to play Richard Belzer's new partner in season 2 of Law & Order SVU. You know how long he's been on that show?
It's been a while.
23 years.
Yeah.
And you know how much he makes per episode?
Probably more than I make in a year.
Over $450,000 an episode.
More than I make in 10 years.
So that comes out to about $9 on the first run, about $9 million a year. Not to mention reruns. Then they're in syndication as well.
Yeah.
So adding that up, $800 million plus. I walked away from. Do I regret it? I do not. One, I couldn't be on a show as the same character
For 23.
for 7 years. I'd be hard pressed to stay on a show for 7 years. I'm an actor. I gotta do different stuff.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. So everything that I've written just to shoot in Nebraska and bring my guys in, from Bart Johnson from the High School Musical movies. He's a heck of an actor, one of my good buddies, to Matthew McConaughey, Billy Bob Thornton. We were having a conversation last time he was in town. He has a band. He's pretty good, man. So we hung out, and then he's like, "You coming down to Kansas City? I'm gonna be down in Kansas City next time. You gonna come down?" I said, "Man, I don't know if I'll be in town, but if I am, I'm coming down there." So I'm connected to his production company now, and he's gonna come in. He's like, "Randy, y'all got an incentive deal here?" I said, "Not yet. We're pushing." He goes, "Man, you go get a good old boy like a Dennis Quaid or Dennis Quaid. You get him in there, man." I go, "Or?" He goes, "Or?" I said, "Or?" He goes, "Oh, hell yeah, I'll do it." I was like, duh. Yeah, we'll get you in here, man. So I've got stuff for all these guys. I got stuff for Jennifer Aniston to come in, and a lot of people have already said, heck yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the studio that you're building and the plans that you have for it.
Well, I need 150 acres. Been negotiating for a nice plot of land over about 4 miles away from 88 Tactical, the former Nebraska Christian College that's over there off 114th and 370. Yeah. Excuse me. And there's been one other worldwide nonprofit that was trying to get it. I was like, nah, they're not getting that land. I'm getting it. So we've been going back and forth, and word just came back to me that all fell apart. I was like, I told you guys. it was going to fall apart. You shouldn't even have been talking to them. It should have been me the whole time. Just leave it here. So I get a phone call and have a meeting. You're like, we want to be in business. We would rather have you here with what you're doing. And I was like, oh, you will. Just don't push me. Don't rush me. I have a lot to do, and it's going to take time. 150-acre studio is what I want to build. The initial would be 77 acres. There's already 2 dormitories on that property. 8 apartments, a main building with classrooms and a stage. That is already set for the Performing Arts Academy. That's ready to go. Now, what I wanted to do with that also was build a construction college, because what I've been able to convince the senators of finally is, when you think of, and this is a question for both of you, when you think of Hollywood, what are the top 5 jobs you think of?
I mean, acting, directing, producing, cameras and lights, maybe.
Boom.
Yeah.
Writer.
Yeah.
All those. What you don't think of are construction workers, plumbers,
Stagehands,
riggers, gaffers.
Gaffers, yeah.
Yeah. Groundskeepers, window washers, roofers. I mean, we need everything. So say we shoot a pilot for a TV show and we use the gym, and we get picked up. Well, guess what? We can't shoot here every day or every week because this is a functioning business. So we have to have this entire interior built on a soundstage to spec, exactly like what you guys have here. So what does that mean? That means we need...
That means Mick's selling you a gym is what it means.
Exactly.
That's what it means.
There you go. But see,
Yeah.
that happens too.
Right.
That does happen.
Yeah.
And so we would need purchasing, because everything you have in this gym needs to be on that soundstage, every bit of it. So someone's got to go out and shop for all this stuff that we need. And then we need some guys to come in, and we would literally hire, like you could have anyone who's a member of the gym and say, hey, you want to make a quick $100 to go
Extras.
in for a day and basically just beat these bags because we need them to look used. I mean, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, my brother in Ireland, I think you met him, we were up at 88 one night when he was here, but he flies for Qantas Airlines, so he actually only works like 10 days a month in the air, and he supplements his income for years. He's been an extra on Irish TV shows. I mean, he's been doing it for like as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
He's and it's great because they'll say, hey, are you available for this? He's like, oh yeah, I could do that. And it's very just kind of low key, no stress. He goes in, he does his thing. They put him in makeup and costumes, and he does a lot of period pieces over there too, a lot of historical stuff. Yeah,
that's cool. I like period pieces.
I think it's kind of neat too, because if you think, Hollywood has always been Hollywood, California, but now we're starting to see a lot of stuff come out of Georgia. I think, who was it? Dumb and Dumber, Jeff, was it Jeff? Something,
Jeff Daniels.
Getting stuff up in Michigan, right? Trying to turn Michigan. So like, if that could be an industry that came to Nebraska, that would be really, really exciting.
Doesn't the state of Georgia like subsidize these movies and offer a bunch of stuff? I know Ireland does.
They have huge, they have beautiful incentives in Georgia, which is, I mean, just like Ohio does now, Cincinnati specifically, Oklahoma City is crushing it. They had like our CHI Center, their big convention center downtown Oklahoma City. Someone bought it and turned it into a studio. That's awesome.
Wow.
So you have all these places, New Mexico. There are a lot of places that have an incentive deal, but New Orleans, Georgia, Canada, Toronto, Vancouver, especially. So you have all these places that have incentives and do make money, but then you have the ones that have really blown up where people keep gravitating toward. And I guarantee you, once we get the incentive deal in place here, they're going to flock here. Now, we have plenty of places you can shoot on location and stuff, but we don't have a studio. So ours with the Performing Arts Academy on one side. On the other side, I want to build 9 full sound stages, but I want them inside, all inside. Like, if I could just buy a building right now, have you seen the Oriental Trading Company?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That building is so big, I could have 10 sound stages in there, separated as if it were outside, so each one could still have their own parking inside, because winters are harsh here. They can be. Summers are hot, can be. So you can literally shoot inside all the time unless you're on location. So you have your base camps and everything set up there, and when you got to go, this is more jobs for the Teamsters, because someone's got to drive your generators, your trailers, your makeup trailer, your hair trailer, your wardrobe trailers. You got to drive all that to locations. All that is just creating more jobs. But that one location, to have it, you can have 10 different productions going on at the same time if you need to be inside on the soundstage. So I'd rather build it from the ground up, and that's the land to do it. And I'm getting a lot of help from state officials right now, and I think the majority of the funding for the studio will be state money. But I still always have to raise money to start shooting projects. We need to start shooting to start proving to people, look, we can shoot here. I can get the big wigs in here, and we can shoot on location. Put everybody in hotels, or I have many other plans for that, because we don't have a Four Seasons yet, or Waldorf Astoria. Well, they're coming. The film industry, trust me, all this is coming. But right now we have like the Farnham downtown and really cool little niche hotels. But I with the studio, I also want to purchase 4 houses on the Bennington Lake, because then when a Tom Cruise or a Denzel, or at one time Oprah, but whoever comes in, they have their own house for the entire month or 2 that they're here. You know, it's comfortable. You have someone taking care of them. I want people to come here and immediately go back to Hollywood or wherever they're from in New York and go, holy crap.
That
was
was awesome.
Shot in Nebraska, dude. You gotta go.
Yeah.
They take care of you. Man, they have a studio that I didn't want to leave. So that's kind of what I want to do here. And kind of the flip side of what Alexander Payne does, he makes us look like crap. He makes Nebraska look like the worst place ever.
Because his movies are dark.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I've got dark movies. I've got tons of stuff. But for me, Nebraska and the cities that I'll use are characters in the stuff that I write. Nebraska's going to look beautiful. A beautiful place. Is New York, when that skyline is lit up at night, does it look beautiful? But look at all the turmoil within the beauty. So this is how I think, you know. And I want to be able to for the world to go, that's Nebraska? We thought it was just plains and Chimney Rock, you know.
Oh, my friends in Ireland still think that I run around with like cowboys and Indians. I kid you not. Like, they just think that it's like a John Wayne movie. Like, still.
It's kind of awesome, bro.
I actually don't dispel the myth either. I will play it up. Yeah. I will play it up.
Well, that kind of brings me to one of the other ones I wanted to talk about. So, you know, when you're from New York, LA, Chicago, somebody from your city winds up in a movie, no big deal. It happens all the time. When you're from Nebraska, it's a really big deal. And so me personally, I don't know about everybody from Nebraska, but when somebody from Nebraska makes it big and you can see them on the screen, we're talking like Alexander Payne, right? I've watched all of his movies and enjoyed them. Adam Devine now seems to be doing really well. Who was that back in the day from Election, the Chris or something that ended up in the American Pie movies, Chris Klein. So you kind of have a connection with them. And one of them that I have an even closer connection, or at least had a closer connection in my heart with, was John Beasley. So he was one of those faces that you recognized everywhere.
And you'd see him everywhere.
And that's part of the reason I had the extra connection, because I used to serve him coffee at Starbucks. He would drive through the drive-thru. I'm pretty sure he only ever got a tall coffee. And he was a nice guy. We never had a conversation, but I'm like, I've seen you in movies, and seeing him in The Mandalorian. No, not beyond that. But
big chicken.
Well, that was 15 years ago. So, But when you have that
find
connection, it's just so neat. And he was one of those that I felt extra special about. And so the fact that he's passed away, I thought it was really neat. The week, I think it was a week or 2 weeks before he passed away, Chris Pratt was at a Lakers game, and he said, "Hey, when I was working on Everwood, Beasley was always like, you got to check out my grandson. He's going to be in the NBA someday."
Yeah.
And Pratt was recording was recording Beasley's grandson as a Laker, playing for the Lakers. And then it was a couple weeks later he passed away. So
I saw him
I feel like
before he passed away in IV.
Yeah.
But I always kind of see him there, the one right down the street here.
Mm-hmm. But I know I don't know if you were real close with him. It seemed like you were pretty close with him. So I'm kind of interested.
My dad were best friends.
Okay.
Oh, is that
since
right?
they were little kids.
Okay.
Me and his son Mike, who is Malik's dad. We're still tight today. Tyrone is his older brother. My younger brother Darren used to work with Tyrone at John Beasley's. He made the best Philly cheesesteaks on the planet. And he had these little burgers. There was this little shop on Ames near North High School back when we were teenagers. So yeah, I mean, our families, we've the Beases and the Goodwins been together forever. I'm sorry, I'm actually trying to find this picture for you guys. I always find it. It's right. Oh, there it is. Boom. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. Then I'll show you this picture and why it's important.
Yeah.
It's me and John. So before my dad passed, I would always get reports from other actors who, because I've worked a lot and I know a lot of people in the business, and then you have a lot of acquaintances. You come across everybody, and people would go, "Dude, I ran into John Beasley. We were working on whatever it was, Everwood or The Apostle." And I go, "Yeah, I know somebody from Nebraska too." And he goes, "Who?" He goes, "Randy Goodwin." He goes, "Oh, Randy Goodwin." I get that report all the time, and I was going, "Why? Is he always talking trash about me or making me look bad or whatever?" Well, I didn't understand because he's older. I'm younger. I get it. We're not in competition.
Mm-hmm.
When I see him, it was always this weird thing. My brothers would see him and he's good to them. And I couldn't understand it. I've never done anything to him. I'm going, So before my dad passed, I said, "Dad, why does John Beasley hate me?" And he goes, "He doesn't hate you. You had the guts to go to Hollywood when you were young, and you made it young. He didn't make it until he was in his 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you and thinks, what if I would have gone? What if I would have done what he did?" He goes, "So it's not against you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just the recipient of his whatever it was."
Mm-hmm.
And I went, "Yeah, but if he does it again, I'm going to punch him in the face." My dad's like, "You're not going to punch him in the face." I said, "Okay, I'm not going to punch him in the face." But he was like, "Man." So I was with Mickey one time in Atlanta because I was shooting the Vampire Diaries. And I said, "Dude, why's your dad treat me like crap?" And he goes, "He doesn't." I go, "Your dad hates me." He goes, "Do, do, 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 do," like it was a flip phone. Do, 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 back then. He goes, "Dad, you got a problem with Randy Goodwin?" He goes, "No, why?" He said he didn't have a problem with you. I said, "He's got a problem." Other people say it. He goes, I can hear him on the phone. He goes, "No, I love Randy." And I went, "Oh, okay." But the stories kept coming. So I had reached out. I ran into him when I was in town one time. And my dad that day he goes, "Just keep treating him with respect. Just keep treating him the way you always have." He goes, "He'll come around." So I would see him and I'd say, "John, I have this script we're going to shoot here in Nebraska, man. I wrote this role for you. I'll help you out with your little project." I was like, "My little project?" It's okay, thank you. And I'd walk away and I go, "I'm never working with them. I don't understand it." Well, we were at Marlon Briscoe's funeral. And man, there was just something different about him that day. He's taken a picture with me before. I was doing the show girlfriends, and at the same time, I was shooting the Natalie Cole Story movie. Came up 3 times. Well, so I'm flying back. They're flying me back and forth from LA to Toronto. Boom. Shoot a day. Boom. Fly back. Rehearse. Shoot a day. Fly back. Rehearse till shoot day. I mean, this was a crazy couple of weeks, and crap. Where was I going with that story?
John Beasley.
The funeral,
After the funeral.
Funeral. Okay, yes. So that movie was my first press junket, and one of my stops was home in Omaha. So my mom, they set up this whole thing with all 3 TV stations, because there was only 3 back then. 4. There were 4. Fox was, and they all came out to our family's main salon out in Bellevue, and I mean, it was nice. So my mom ran into John, and she goes, "John, they're doing a press junket for Randy. He's going to be on the radio, and he's going to be over here. Just wanted to invite you." I'll come over there and help him out. My mom goes, "Make no mistake about it, you're not helping him do anything." She's funny. Like she'll my mom will just tell you. Period. No, that's not what I meant, Mary. That's not what I meant. I mean, she goes, So he came. He wore this flight jacket, this pilot jacket, and aviator shades. He never spoke to me at my event until NBC says, "Hey, John, can I get a picture of you and Randy?" He comes over and he leans in, shades on, takes a picture, leans out and walks away. And I go, I looked at my mom. I was like, "This is what I'm talking about. This is right." And I was like, whatever, but just things like that. So this particular day, we were talking, and I said, "Look, I have this project. It's about it's a TV series called 180, and it's going to be the first TV series we shoot in Nebraska. I got some big names in it coming in. It's about a drug and alcohol rehab facility, addiction and recovery. And it's a very important show to me because all of us are touched by addiction in some way, shape, or form. I didn't know this when I was growing up. I was like, I don't know any drunks. I don't know any alcoholics. I don't know any drug addicts. One of my closest friends passed away, not long ago. So I wrote this. But I was like, and I'll share this part of it because since John is gone now, I want people to know this. So I wrote this role, and my character, which is why I'm still losing all this weight, I had to slow it down because of the strike, but I got to get down to 180 pounds because I have to look emaciated, pretty close to Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club. So my character was somebody coming up, blew a knee, start gambling on games, Chicago Bulls. He gets cut, all that stuff, ends up on drugs because of the painkillers, and a few years later, he's just a mess. Tries to rob a crack house after the Bulls lose again, and gets the crap beat out of him. Screwdriver in the leg, all that. Ends up in the hospital, and then ends up in jail, and then in court. And in court, that judge is John Beasley. And he's just like, "Wow, it's good to see you back. Either you've been doing an exceptional job of recovery, or you've just somehow been able to avoid me." And he goes, "I'm going to go with that one." And he's just, he's kind of a jerk to my character, but I'm kind of a jerk. And he sentences me to this drug and alcohol rehab facility in Omaha, Nebraska, because we live in Chicago at the time. And there's a couple of things that you hear, like when the judge says, he says, "Do I make myself clear?" And I nod my head. He goes, "No, son, speak up. I need to hear you say it." And I go, "Yes, sir, judge, sir, your honor, sir," with a little snarky attitude. Well, we find out in like episode 4 or 5 that is John Beasley is actually my father. He's my real father. But I hate him, and I don't treat him like a father. I blame the death of my mother on him, even though he didn't kill her. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm a drug addict, and I'm doing it. It's not his fault. So we would have been on camera together playing father and son, and I was excited about it because it was a great role for him. He would have crushed it, and we would have been phenomenal together. So we were talking about the role, and then this particular day at the Marlon Briscoe funeral, and you'll notice he's much taller than me in this one because he was like, "No, you're already taller than me. I'm getting on that step." So he steps around me, and we take this picture. Man, look how genuine that smile is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First time, and I could feel it that day, and I was like, "There's something different, man. There's something different." And I found out that at this time, he knew he had cancer.
Mm.
That changes things.
Mm-hmm.
Mortality changes things, when you really think about what's important. And we saw each other a few times after that, and then I get a call from Mickey. Yeah, Dad just passed. So I was like, I mean, we knew it was coming, but kind of sucked because he had gone into remission and was doing all right, and then it just came back with a vengeance, like it does a lot, So
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome dude, man. I mean, even with all that, I look back and I go, no, he didn't hate me. I knew it, but I was a kid coming up, and he was somebody I looked up to as a kid. So then as a grown man who's a young man at the time, I couldn't understand the shift, but I get it. Now I get it.
Let me ask you, I guess it's probably a personal question too, but, for me as a fighter, the Data Boy, the pat on the back, for me was winning a world title. I was like absolutely obsessed with it, even from a young age. What's that for an actor? What is the pinnacle? Is it an Oscar? What is it? What do you chase?
I don't really chase the awards. I'm gonna get them because I know, like I said, I know the business well. I also did a lot of post-production for Deluxe Technicolor for years, 10 years. So when I ruptured my Achilles playing ball, and I ended up there because a buddy of mine who was a partner in my production company, he ran a division, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just work there when I can't walk. And I learned so much. And every year, I'd say out of 10 years, 8 of those years I called Best Picture, I called Best Documentary, because we would work on them, we'd see them. So I know the business. And when I look at who wins and why, it's a lot of politics. So I don't chase the awards. I still want that trophy, but it's not the end all be all. What I usually say, and I believe this with all my heart, I've been asked, what do you want? I've only been asked this one time in an interview. It was years ago. Is it ABC? Somebody on ABC. I can't think of her name. What do you want to be remembered for when you're done with this business? What do you want people to say? I said, I want people consistently across the board to say, I love working with that dude, man. Loved working with him. He was a great guy. He's talented, but that's superseded by he was a great guy. Always spoke his mind. Always honest. Loved everybody. Would check you if he had to. My dad. I wanted to be the guy that my friends, my dad was that guy that all my friends, black, white, Native American, because yes, we had two Indians in our neighborhood growing up. Where do you see that anymore? But they would all say, man, I wish your dad was my dad. And I'd be like, why? But you got your own dad? Well, yeah, but when he comes around, he just give my money for. I go, wait, your dad doesn't live with you? I didn't understand it back. We were kids. Well, everybody's got a dad. No, we were that family. Well, I mean, there were a few, but we were. And my dad would throw the football with all the kids. My dad would grill for all the kids. Everyone was invited to our house. We were like the Hey Kool-Aid house. When there was a tornado, power outages, everyone gravitated toward our house. It was just that house. So I always wanted to be that guy to my kids' friends. And then when they started coming home going, Dad, all my friends are like, Dad, I wish your dad was my dad. And I go, really? Okay. No, they can't come over though. But that is how I want to be remembered for Hollywood is, man, love working. I look forward to working with him. You know, so that's my pinnacle, to be honest with you. And,
Well, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but along the same lines, maybe in the same genre of question, and this is another selfish one because it's something I'm wrestling with myself with. So why acting? Because, the reason I ask this is, as a musician, I've been chasing, music career for 20 years. And sometimes I wonder why. Because what am I giving the world? Maybe a good time, an excuse to get drunk and dance or make bad decisions. Like, why? And I think I know the answers for myself, but a lot of people don't understand it. So if somebody asks you why acting?
this is the question right here. When I was 8 years old, I did a play, my first play ever. It was Jesus of Nazareth. I was Jesus. Of course, special effects weren't great back then, so my beard and mustache kept sliding off, and I kept trying to put it on and do my lines. I remember it like it was yesterday. And the director's like, Randy, just say the words. Just say the words. We'll take care of the beard on the next off. And I go, so I just did the words. It's hanging off. And I'm raising Lazarus from the dead, and I'm doing my thing. At the end of the play, it was curtain call. So everyone else goes out, and they hold me back. And everyone's, clapping, a nice applause. And I remember hearing it like I can see the faces right now. And then I come out, and the cast kind of parts, and I walk out, kind of apropos, Jesus.
Parting
yeah. And I walk out, and everybody starts screaming. People stand up and clapping, and some wet eyes, and I was just kind of like going, I bow, and I go, I'm 8. I don't understand what I did to make them do that, but I wanted to make people do that for the rest of my life. As I got older, my parents I couldn't do anything on camera. Acting wasn't something they wanted me to do, and I get it. Again, it was protection because they didn't understand it. But this is what God built me for. Again, no education in it. I was doing it from that age, and I knew that I was supposed to do it. I just knew. As I got older, when Shay and I started doing stand-up and other things, and we'd tell stories and joke with people, man, I can make people believe anything. It was just crazy. And once I got to Hollywood, it hit me. I was able to make people believe whatever I said or did on camera or on stage. And that's when the why really, really became clear. Because if I can make people believe in what I'm doing on stage, if I choose the right projects, I can change the world. So my mission has always been to do the projects that will change the world. That's my why.
Awesome.
And I'm still doing it. I mean, I believe that I'll be able to touch more people, not the way Hollywood does. But, as we get older in this game, I mean, you got Clint Eastwood's 93 still doing it. There's no age limit here.
Yeah.
But with the way society's getting, the world's getting a little crazy with all the nonsense out there, and with viruses and scares and politics, it's just crazy. So I think now more than ever, it is imperative that we start shooting in Nebraska, because the projects that I have, when you see them, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. How do you even think of that? I don't know. I just talk to God, and boom, things happen. I see things, I hear things, and I'm like, that would be interesting. Walk in another man's shoes. What would it be like to be Mick? I don't know what he deals with on a daily basis. And then I sit down and talk to him and go, how could I trade places with him and still be me? Or how could I change places with you? How about I change the entire race of people? How about I flip that? I mean, I just start coming up with stuff. And I sent a bunch of stuff. Since the strike, since being in Omaha, I've just been writing. And I just sent my manager five new shows. I got 7 more to send her. She just read them, called me yesterday. She goes, oh my goodness. I love all of them, but the I Hate Tom Brady one, brilliant. Yeah, I hate Tom Brady. So it's the new Seinfeld, basically.
Okay.
And it's called I Hate Tom Brady. So,
Awesome.
it's just stuff like that. But
We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you're able to come up with. I had no idea the vision was this big, but it's exciting.
it was huge.
So I'm really. What are some time frames? What are you hoping to accomplish here in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? How does that all pan out?
Well, I know we will start shooting in the spring now because, like I said, with the strike pushing everything, I have to flip things. I have to get vouchers, not vouchers. I have to get permission. Keep tapping this. I have to get permission from the Screen Actors Guild, and they'll give me a waiver to actually be able to shoot with some well-known names here because I have to prove that we are independent of the studio. So to start shooting, that'll be spring.
Okay.
We will start shooting something in the spring. My goal is to raise a full $20 million to shoot 8 projects, which at $2 million a pop per project with contingencies for lawyers and accountants and all that stuff. $2 million is considered very low budget in Hollywood.
Okay.
But what I can do here, because I know people and my family's here, we have houses, cars, with friends, jets, access. I can shoot a $10 million movie for $2 million. So we're going to just really start pushing that stuff. That, like I said, 2024 early, we will start. We definitely need all this, and we need it. We We definitely need to get Nebraska on the map. Too much talent here. You said it earlier. When you hear Nebraskan, it's like, whoa, no, there are more Nebraskans in Hollywood than any state in this country.
Really?
Per capita, there are more Omahans in Hollywood than any city in the world. Because we go back to the first film studio, Daryl Zanuck Studios. Daryl Zanuck from Omaha, Nebraska, built Zanuck Studios, and then a smaller studio, he helped build 20th Century Fox. Boom. And that was the start. And then from Fred Astaire, do you know Fred Astaire's from here?
Yeah.
Fred Astaire, Marlon Brando, Nick Nolte, Montgomery Clift, all these black and white actors from way back. We've got a lot of them. And then you look at, bet you didn't know this one, movie Terminator. Reese, who came back to stop Arnold in the first Terminator.
Yeah.
Who was also in Tombstone, one of my favorite westerns.
Navy SEALs. That guy was in a lot in the 80s and 90s.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael Biehn is his name.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of guys like him that you go, what?
Yeah.
You see Omaha on their resume, you go, what? There's a lot of them. And none of them ever came back to help an 8-year-old like me. So I vowed, I said, God, you built me for this. You made me successful. I will bring it back so no other 8-year-old has to go through what I went through. I had to search for it. They're not going to have to search for it. There will be an academy here for them.
Awesome.
So that's my goal.
Awesome.
Full circle.
Well, yeah. Where can people find you online if you want them to find you online, or where can people find more information about what you're doing?
Everything is Randy J. Goodwin.
Okay.
Everything I'm connected to. I'm not huge on social media. I used to have a lot of followers. I got hacked. People were sending $1,000 a pop to these Nigerians who,
Bummer.
man, they were good.
Oh yeah.
They watched all the videos of me, and they sounded like me to other people when I saw the messages they were sending out, but I had no way of getting to them because they had full control of the account.
Yeah.
And till one young lady called, she goes, did I just get burned? I go, what do you mean? She goes, I just sent you $1,000. I go, why would you send me $1,000? She goes, for your crypto. Your crypto manager. I go, oh, you got burned. And then I'm like, how many people got burned?
Yeah.
And it was a lot.
I've got 2 friends currently on Instagram that same things happened to them. Their accounts got hacked, and they're trying to,
My Instagram's way too
Bitcoin,
boring
so.
for people to hack me.
Well, I haven't even tried to start building. I'm just like, I just post whatever.
You're getting the work done and letting social media,
Yeah.
That's my model. I know a lot of people that try to go social media and then build the work behind it. I'd rather get the work done and then have a quality product to
you can see my
advertise,
work on IMDb.
Yeah.
That's, just type my name into any search engine and all that work will pop up. So it's easy to find me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in. Really do appreciate this. Really am excited to see what happens in the near future, and just looking forward to interacting with you down the road. So thanks again.
Man.
Good
Thanks
luck
for
with it.
having me.
Yeah. Exciting.
Now I'm gonna, since I've been in the gym now, I'm gonna have to come up here on it.
Yep. Jiu-jitsu should
will
keep your
find
face looking pretty good. So
Much better than Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Although, quick funny story. I had to get passport pictures done 2 weeks ago to renew my American passport and my Irish passport. So I had a half-hour break from the gym, so I run down the street to Walgreens. Nice lady. She's working the photo booth. She doesn't know how to use the camera. So she's clicking it, and she's like, oh, no, honey, that's not it. So first of all, my picture looks like me doing this. Because I'm like, lady, come on, take the picture. So she puts in the envelopes. I throw it in my car. I get home. I throw it on the counter. My wife goes, what's that? I go, that's my passport pictures. So she pulls them out and she goes, yeah, you're not going to use these. I was like, why? She goes, I'll take a look. Well, I just done jiu-jitsu with Larry, and we were working and skating from the bottom. So I have all this rug burn all over my face right here, and I got pissed off look. My hair's all over the place, and I was like, man, this looks like a terrorist training card application right here. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to use those. I have to redo those. So, yeah. No, jiu-jitsu may give you a little road rash, but it's
I get
certainly
Willie
easier.
always saying, you coming up, right? You coming, right? I was like, yes, Willie, one of these days I'll get there.
Well, now you know where it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not too far where I'm at. So.
All right.
I'll come up and hang out.
All right.
Yes, I will.
Sounds good. We'll hold you to it.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool, fellas. Thank you.
Until next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.